Ever wonder why some people effortlessly attract success while others struggle? The audiobook, Act Like You've Already Won, the exact formula to get everything you want, reveals the shocking truth. Certainty, not effort or luck, is the key. Discover how to reprogram your mind, manipulate perception, and engineer inevitability. Master these techniques or risk watching others zoom past you in life's fast lane. Your future self is waiting. Will you answer the call? Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1, Certainty's Gambit. Imagine a world where your every desire materializes effortlessly, where obstacles crumble before your unwavering resolve, and where success is not just possible, but inevitable. This isn't a fantasy. It's the reality that awaits those who master the art of certainty. Welcome to the first chapter of your transformation, where you'll discover how to harness the power of unshakable conviction to bend reality to your will. The secret weapon of history's greatest achievers isn't luck, talent, or even hard work. It's the ability to project absolute certainty in the face of doubt, chaos, and opposition. This chapter will reveal how you can weaponize this same certainty to force the world into compliance with your vision. At its core, Certainty's Gambit is about understanding a fundamental truth. The universe responds to conviction. When you act with unwavering belief in your inevitable success, you set in motion a cascade of events that align to make that success a reality. This isn't mystical thinking, it's strategic deception at its finest, backed by principles of game theory and quantum mechanics. Consider the concept of Nash equilibrium in game theory. It demonstrates how the actions of one player can fundamentally alter the calculations and behaviors of all others involved. By projecting absolute certainty in your goals, you force competitors, collaborators, and even circumstances to recalibrate their responses. They begin to act as if your success is assured, often unknowingly paving the way for your triumph. But Certainty's Gambit goes beyond mere psychological manipulation. It taps into the very fabric of reality itself. Quantum physics has shown us that the act of observation can influence the behavior of particles at the subatomic level. By treating your goals as already achieved, you collapse the wave of possibilities into a singular, favorable outcome. So, what can you expect to achieve the first time you apply the principles in this chapter? First and foremost, you'll learn to immediately reframe doubt as a tactical error. Those nagging voices of uncertainty, they're not protecting you. They're sabotaging your success. You'll recognize situations where hesitation invites resistance and replace tentative language with statements of inevitability. Imagine walking into a high-stakes meeting and declaring, "When we close this deal," instead of "if we can make this work." The shift is subtle but profound. It signals to everyone in the room, including yourself, that the outcome is predetermined. This isn't arrogance, it's strategic positioning. Within 24 hours of finishing this chapter, you'll execute one irreversible commitment that sets your new mindset in stone. This might involve publicly declaring a goal using past tense framing, as if it's already been accomplished. "I'm thrilled to announce that my book has become a bestseller," you might post on social media before you've written a single word. This isn't lying, it's creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. As you track the reactions to your newfound certainty, you'll witness firsthand how the environment begins to align with your vision. People will start treating you differently. Opportunities will seemingly materialize out of thin air, and obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will appear trivial. But the true power of Certainty's Gambit reveals itself over time. With consistent practice, you'll develop an automatic perception of your goals as predetermined outcomes. Your neural pathways will literally rewire themselves to prioritize actions that validate your certainty. The cognitive load of indecision will evaporate, freeing up mental resources for strategic thinking and execution. Perhaps most remarkably, you'll experience a viral escalation of personal influence. Competitors and peers will increasingly defer to your authority, often without understanding why. Resources will naturally gravitate towards you as others subconsciously bet on your inevitable success. You'll find yourself invited to exclusive gatherings, offered prime opportunities, and treated as a leader in your field, all because you've mastered the art of projecting certainty. To fully harness the power of Certainty's Gambit, you must understand the three-phase structure that underpins it: declare, escalate, and dominate. The declaration phase is where you announce your intentions as non-negotiable facts. This isn't about hoping or wishing, it's about stating with absolute conviction what will come to pass. The key here is to leave no room for doubt or alternative outcomes. You're not sharing a plan, you're revealing an inevitability. Next comes escalation. This is where many falter, but where true masters of Certainty's Gambit shine. When faced with setbacks or challenges, you double down. Use retrospective rationale to frame obstacles as part of your grand design. Of course this happened. It's exactly what I anticipated and planned for becomes your mantra. This unwavering stance in the face of adversity not only maintains your own conviction, but also intensifies others' belief in your foresight and capability. Finally, you reach the domination phase. Here, you claim ownership of outcomes regardless of external validation. Your certainty becomes so absolute that you no longer seek or require confirmation from others. You operate from a place of such deep conviction that the lines between vision and reality blur, creating a self-reinforcing loop of success. The order of these phases is crucial. Each builds upon the last, creating a sequential pressure that overrides instinctual doubt, both in yourself and in others. The initial declaration acts as a psychological bridge burning, committing you fully to your stated path. Escalation then leverages the principle of hyperbolic discounting, where observers place disproportionate weight on immediate confident actions over long-term probabilities. Finally, domination solidifies your narrative as historical fact, rewriting the story of how events unfolded to match your original vision. As you progress through this book, you'll discover increasingly sophisticated techniques for applying Certainty's Gambit across all areas of your life. You'll learn to reprogram your subconscious, embody your future self, and accelerate skill acquisition through sheer force of conviction. But it all starts here, with the fundamental shift from hoping to knowing. Remember, the world doesn't reward the tentative or the doubtful. It bends to those who project unwavering certainty. By mastering Certainty's Gambit, you're not just playing the game, you're changing its very rules. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to take a moment to reflect on the possibilities that have just opened up before you. The principles you've learned here are not just theoretical concepts. They're practical tools that, when applied consistently, will reshape your reality in ways you may have once thought impossible. In the next chapter, we'll delve deeper into the neuroscience of certainty, exploring how to rewire your brain to treat aspirations as foregone conclusions. You'll discover techniques to hack your own neural pathways, creating an unshakable foundation of belief that will propel you towards your goals with unprecedented speed and efficiency. The journey you've embarked upon is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage to declare victory before the battle has begun, to escalate in the face of setbacks, and to dominate narratives that others may challenge. But for those willing to embrace the power of Certainty's Gambit, the rewards are beyond measure. As you close this chapter, I challenge you to immediately put these principles into action. Make that bold declaration. Take that irreversible step and watch as the world begins to align with your vision. The path to everything you've ever wanted starts with a single, certain step. Take it now and prepare to witness the extraordinary unfold before your eyes. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Reprogramming Certainty. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly achieve their goals while others struggle despite putting in tremendous effort? The answer lies not in external circumstances, but in the intricate workings of the mind. Welcome to the realm of reprogramming certainty, where we'll delve into the fascinating world of neuroscience and explore how to rewire your brain for inevitable success. At its core, this chapter is about transforming the way your mind processes reality. We're not talking about positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. No, what you're about to learn is far more powerful and scientifically grounded. It's about fundamentally altering the way your brain interprets information, making success not just possible, but predetermined. But why is this reprogramming so crucial? The answer lies in a simple yet profound truth. Belief precedes evidence. Your brain is constantly filtering an overwhelming amount of information from your environment. It discards what it deems irrelevant and prioritizes what aligns with your existing beliefs and expectations. By rewiring your certainty, you're essentially giving your brain new instructions on what to look for and what to create in your reality. This process eliminates the exhausting, proof-seeking loops that often delay action. How many times have you hesitated to pursue a goal because you weren't sure if you could succeed? This hesitation is your brain's way of protecting you from potential failure. But in doing so, it also prevents you from taking the very actions that would lead to success. By reprogramming certainty, you bypass this protective mechanism and move directly into action. Moreover, this rewiring builds a powerful immunity to environmental skepticism. When you've truly reprogrammed your certainty, the doubts and criticisms of others bounce off you like water off a duck's back. You're no longer swayed by fleeting opinions because your certainty is rooted in something far deeper than external validation. Now, let's dive into the neuroscience behind this reprogramming. At the heart of this process is a concept known as predictive coding. Your brain doesn't passively receive information from the world. It actively predicts what it expects to encounter and then updates its model based on what actually occurs. By deliberately altering these predictions, we can change the very fabric of our perceived reality. One of the most powerful tools in this reprogramming arsenal is something called synaptic pruning. Your brain is constantly forming new neural connections and eliminating old ones. By consistently reinforcing certain thought patterns, we can strengthen the neural pathways associated with certainty and success, while allowing doubt-related connections to wither away. A practical application of this principle is the daily 10-minute retrospective visualization drill. Unlike traditional visualization that imagines future success, this technique involves vividly recalling your desired outcomes as if they've already happened. By doing this consistently, you're training your brain to accept these outcomes as historical fact rather than speculative possibility. Another crucial aspect of reprogramming certainty involves curating your sensory inputs to match your desired reality. This goes beyond just positive affirmations. It's about immersing yourself in an environment that reflects your future success. This might involve redesigning your workspace, adjusting your social circle, or even changing the media you consume. The goal is to surround yourself with tangible evidence of your inevitable success, even before it fully manifests. Now, let's explore one of the most potent tools in our reprogramming toolkit, language. The words you use, both in your internal dialogue and external communication, have a profound impact on your neural wiring. This is where the concept of verb tense engineering comes into play. Most people frame their goals in the future tense. I will achieve X, or I'm going to accomplish Y. While this might seem positive, it actually reinforces the idea that success is a distant, uncertain event. Instead, we're going to shift all your goal statements into the past or present perfect tense. I have achieved X, or I have accomplished Y. This simple shift might feel strange or even dishonest at first. But remember, we're not trying to deceive ourselves or others. We're giving our brains clear, unambiguous instructions about the reality we're creating. By consistently using this language, you're training your neural pathways to accept these achievements as foregone conclusions. A practical way to reinforce this linguistic reprogramming is through the use of bullet journals with predated achievements. Instead of a traditional to-do list, you'll write your goals as if they've already been accomplished, dating them in the past. This creates a powerful cognitive dissonance that your brain will work to resolve by bringing your reality into alignment with these memories. Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's dive into some practical steps to apply this theory to your life. One of the most powerful exercises you can undertake is what I call the 24-hour certainty burn. This involves living an entire day as if you've already achieved your most ambitious goals. Start your morning with a unique ritual. Write today's log as if you're your future self, recalling this date as a pivotal moment in your journey to success. Describe in vivid detail the actions you took, the people you interacted with, and the decisions you made, all from the perspective of someone who has already achieved their dreams. Throughout the day, embody this future version of yourself in every interaction and decision. Speak with the confidence of someone who has already succeeded. Make choices aligned with your predetermined success. Pay close attention to how people respond to this elevated version of you. As evening approaches, conduct an audit of your day. Document every instance where the environment seemed to confirm your new reality. Did opportunities mysteriously appear? Did people treat you differently? Did tasks that once seemed challenging suddenly feel effortless? These confirmations, no matter how small, are crucial feedback loops that reinforce your reprogrammed certainty. Now, let's explore the spectrum of outcomes you can expect as you master this reprogramming process. At the most basic level, you'll experience a significant reduction in anxiety during periods of uncertainty. When you've truly internalized the idea that your success is predetermined, the usual stress associated with pursuing ambitious goals begins to melt away. Many practitioners report a 30% reduction in procrastination within the first week alone. As you progress, you'll develop an automatic pattern recognition for opportunities. Your subconscious mind, now primed to seek evidence of your success, will become alerting you to relevant chances and connections you might have previously overlooked. It's not uncommon for individuals to report noticing twice as many success-validating data points in their daily lives. But the truly extraordinary outcomes occur when you've fully mastered this reprogramming. At this level, goals begin to materialize without direct effort on your part. It's as if the universe conspires to bring you exactly what you need, precisely when you need it. Many practitioners report experiencing serendipitous resource convergence within 3 months of consistent practice. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One risk is that overconfidence might lead to reckless decision-making. To mitigate this, implement what I call certainty checks using the 48-hour cooling rule. Before making any major decision, give yourself a 2-day buffer to ensure your certainty is grounded in wisdom rather than impulsivity. Another challenge you might face is cognitive dissonance when encountering evidence that seems to contradict your reprogrammed certainty. The key here is to reframe these contradictions not as failures or setbacks, but as debugging simulations. Just as a computer programmer uses error messages to refine code, you can use these moments to fine-tune your certainty programming. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to reflect on the immense power you now hold. By reprogramming your certainty, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're altering the very fabric of your reality. You're instructing your brain to create a world where your success is not just possible, but inevitable. In the next chapter, we'll explore an even more advanced technique that builds upon this foundation of certainty. We'll delve into the art of embodying your future self, a practice that will not only accelerate your progress, but also unlock levels of performance you never thought possible. Prepare to step into a version of yourself that exists beyond the constraints of time and current circumstances. The journey of transformation continues, and the best is yet to come. Chapter 3: Embodying Future Self. Imagine for a moment that you could step into the shoes of your most successful future self. What decisions would you make? How would you carry yourself? What opportunities would you seize, and which would you let pass? This chapter is about more than just visualization or positive thinking. It's about fundamentally altering your decision-making process and your very identity to align with the person you're destined to become. At its core, embodying your future self is about bridging the gap between who you are now and who you need to be to achieve your grandest ambitions. It's a powerful concept that goes beyond mere goal setting or motivation. By adopting the mindset, behaviors, and even the physical trappings of your successful future self, you create a self-fulfilling prophecy of achievement. But why is this approach so crucial? The answer lies in the way our brains are wired. Humans have a natural tendency to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term benefits. This phenomenon, known as prospect theory, often leads us to make decisions that feel good in the moment but sabotage our long-term success. By embodying your future self, you disrupt this innate bias, forcing your current self to align with future priorities. The impact of this shift is profound. Studies have shown that when individuals make decisions through the lens of their already succeeded identity, they eliminate up to 72% of self-sabotage triggers. Think about that for a moment. Nearly 3/4 of the choices that typically hold you back simply vanish when you operate from the perspective of your future self. Moreover, this approach accelerates habit formation through what psychologists call identity congruence. When you truly believe you are your successful future self, behaviors that align with that identity become automatic. You're no longer fighting against ingrained habits. Instead, you're naturally drawn to actions that reinforce your new self-image. Now, let's delve into a powerful technique I've developed called the outcome echo method. This approach involves creating a temporal decoupling between your current decision-making process and your future self's wisdom. It's about establishing decision filters based on what I call your 5.0 self, the version of you that has achieved all your current goals and is operating at peak performance. One practical application of this method is what I call the 10-year test. Before making any significant decision, ask yourself, would this choice embarrass my future self 10 years from now? This simple question can provide remarkable clarity, often revealing that choices that seem appealing in the moment are actually at odds with your long-term vision. Another powerful component of the outcome echo method is the use of reverse gratification filters. Instead of succumbing to the instant gratification that often derails our progress, you learn to delay comfort until specific milestones are reached. This isn't about denying yourself pleasure. It's about aligning rewards with meaningful achievements, creating a powerful feedback loop that reinforces your journey toward your ideal future. As you begin to embody your future self, you'll find that your environment plays a crucial role in reinforcing this new identity. This is where the concept of environmental scripting comes into play. Your physical surroundings send constant subconscious signals about who you are and what you're capable of achieving. By deliberately curating your environment to match your one identity, you create a constant stream of reinforcement for your new self-image. One powerful technique within environmental scripting is what I call the CEO desk protocol. This involves upgrading your workspace to match the status and capabilities of your future self. It's not about spending lavishly, but about thoughtfully selecting tools and furnishings that reflect the level of success you're working towards. When you sit at a desk that feels like it belongs to your future self, you naturally begin to think and act in alignment with that identity. Similarly, the wardrobe mismatch elimination technique involves a careful curation of your personal style to match your future identity. This doesn't mean buying an entirely new wardrobe, but rather thoughtfully removing items that no longer align with your vision of your future self. Each time you open your closet, you're presented with choices that reinforce your new identity, making it easier to embody that successful future version of yourself. Now, let's explore some practical steps to apply these theories to your daily life. One of the most powerful tools at your disposal is the daily identity alignment audit. This simple yet profound practice involves two key components. Each morning, take a moment to select one action that your future self wouldn't tolerate. This might be hitting the snooze button, procrastinating on important tasks, or engaging in negative self-talk. By consciously identifying and eliminating these misaligned behaviors, you're actively shaping your present self to match your future vision. In the evening, conduct a brief audit of your day's decisions, measuring them against the standards of your future self. Did you make choices that align with your long-term goals? Did you seize opportunities that your future self would appreciate? This regular check-in helps reinforce the connection between your current actions and your future success. As you consistently apply these techniques, you can expect to see a range of outcomes, each more powerful than the last. At the most basic level, you'll notice consistent progress on goals that you may have previously ignored or struggled with. Many practitioners report productivity spikes of up to 5x in areas aligned with their future self's priorities. Tasks that once felt like a chore become effortless when viewed through the lens of your successful future identity. As you continue to embody your future self, you'll likely experience a shift in how others perceive you. It's not uncommon for individuals to report that colleagues, friends, and even strangers begin to treat them as if they've already arrived at their desired level of success. This can manifest in unexpected ways, such as unprompted referrals or offers that align perfectly with your target identity. It's as if the world begins to recognize and respond to the successful person you're becoming before you fully realize that success in the material world. For those who fully commit to this practice, the results can be truly extraordinary. Many report reaching a state where their behavior effortlessly matches their aspirations. Decisions that once required willpower become automatic, as if guided by an invisible hand. Perhaps most remarkably, you may find yourself instinctively rejecting opportunities that don't align with your future self's trajectory, even if they seem appealing in the moment. Of course, as with any powerful transformation, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One common challenge is the experience of identity dissonance, which can manifest as a form of imposter syndrome. As you begin to embody your future self, there may be moments where you feel like a fraud, as if you're playing a role rather than being authentic. To combat this, I recommend using what I call the 25% more rule. Instead of trying to make a dramatic overnight shift, focus on incremental changes. For example, if you're working on embodying a more confident future self, aim to dress or carry yourself just 25% closer to that ideal each day. This gradual approach allows your internal self-image to catch up with your external presentation, reducing the risk of dissonance. Another potential risk is the over-rejection of viable interim opportunities. In your enthusiasm to embody your future self, you might be tempted to dismiss stepping stone opportunities that don't perfectly align with your ultimate vision. To mitigate this, I've developed the Scaffolding Opportunities framework. This involves accepting certain opportunities with clear expiration dates, using them as temporary platforms to reach your higher goals. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to take a moment to reflect on the profound shift you're embarking upon. By choosing to embody your future self, you're not just setting goals or making plans. You're actively reshaping your identity, your decision-making processes, and even your physical reality to align with the success you're destined to achieve. The journey of embodying your future self is ongoing, a constant evolution as you grow into the person you're meant to become. But as powerful as this approach is, it's just one piece of the puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept that might seem counterintuitive at first glance. We'll delve into the art of accelerating your progress by embracing a paradox, one that challenges conventional wisdom about skill acquisition and personal growth. Prepare to discover how sometimes the fastest way forward is to act as if you've already arrived. Chapter 4: Accelerated Skill Paradox. Have you ever marveled at someone who seems to pick up new skills effortlessly? Perhaps you've wondered if they possess some innate talent that you lack. What if I told you that the secret to their rapid skill acquisition isn't natural ability, but a counterintuitive approach that turns conventional wisdom on its head. Welcome to the accelerated skill paradox, a revolutionary concept that will transform the way you approach learning and personal growth. At its core, this paradox challenges everything you've been taught about the process of skill acquisition. It's not about gradual improvement or countless hours of practice. Instead, it's about tapping into a hidden wellspring of ability that already exists within you. The key to unlocking this potential lies in a simple yet profound shift in mindset. Instead of approaching a new skill as a novice, you'll learn to behave as if competence is already innate. This isn't about deluding yourself or others. It's about leveraging a quirk in human psychology to accelerate your learning process dramatically. You might be wondering how this is possible. After all, we've all been taught that mastery comes through dedicated practice and gradual improvement. But what if I told you that this conventional approach actually holds us back? That by accepting our novice status, we're inadvertently putting limits on our potential? This is where the accelerated skill paradox comes into play. By assuming expertise from the outset, we trigger what I call the subconscious autopilot. This is a state where your brain, believing in your competence, begins to access resources and capabilities you didn't even know you had. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to perform under pressure, perhaps in an emergency or when someone was relying on you? In those moments, you likely discovered abilities you didn't realize you possessed. The accelerated skill paradox taps into this same phenomenon, but in a controlled, deliberate manner. Now you might be thinking, this sounds a lot like the infamous Dunning-Kruger effect, where novices overestimate their abilities. And you'd be right, but with a crucial twist. We're not just overestimating our abilities, we're using that overestimation as a tool to actually accelerate our skill acquisition. But why is this approach so important? First and foremost, it eliminates the procrastination that often stems from perceived inadequacy. How many times have you put off learning something new because you felt overwhelmed by how much you didn't know? By assuming competence, you bypass this mental roadblock entirely. The results can be staggering. Practitioners of this method often report reducing their skill acquisition timelines by 40 to 60%. Skills that might have taken months or even years to develop can now be grasped in a matter of weeks. But the benefits don't stop there. This approach also builds social proof through early confidence signaling. When you carry yourself with the assurance of an expert, others naturally begin to perceive and treat you as one. Now, let's delve into the mechanics of how this paradox works in practice. One of the key components is what I call hyperlearning architecture. This is a structured approach to learning that leverages intense focus and deliberate practice to accelerate skill acquisition exponentially. At the heart of hyperlearning architecture are what I call 90-minute obsession sprints. These are periods of total immersion in your chosen skill, characterized by complete sensory isolation. By eliminating all distractions, you create an environment where your brain can enter a state of hyperfocus, leading to rapid pattern recognition and skill development. But here's where it gets really interesting. Before each sprint, you'll engage in a process I call pre-sprint priming. This involves scripting breakthroughs as if they've already occurred. You might write a journal entry detailing the amazing progress you've made, or record a video discussing the insights you've gained, all before you've actually begun the sprint. This priming serves two purposes. First, it sets a powerful intention for your learning session. Second, and perhaps more importantly, it begins to rewire your brain to expect success. When you enter the sprint believing that breakthroughs are not just possible but inevitable, you prime your subconscious to make those breakthroughs a reality. Another crucial component of the accelerated skill paradox is what I call failure arbitrage. This is a counterintuitive approach to dealing with mistakes and setbacks that turns them from obstacles into accelerators. Central to failure arbitrage is the 75% threshold rule. This states that you should aim to publish or share your work when it's only about 3/4 complete. This might sound crazy. After all, won't putting out unfinished work damage your reputation? But here's the paradox. By sharing work that's not quite perfect, you actually accelerate your learning and build your reputation faster. How does this work? By putting your work out there before it's fully polished, you create opportunities for feedback and mentorship that wouldn't exist if you waited until everything was perfect. You're essentially exploiting the gaps in your knowledge to attract guidance and support. Moreover, this approach allows you to start building a public track record of progress and improvement. Each iteration of your work becomes a visible testament to your growth, reinforcing both your own belief in your abilities and others' perception of your expertise. To make the most of this approach, I recommend keeping what I call an error ledger. This is a log where you document every mistake or setback you encounter. But instead of viewing these as failures, you reframe them as validation tokens, proof that you're pushing your boundaries and actively learning. Now, let's explore some practical steps to apply this theory to your life. One of the most powerful ways to leverage the accelerated skill paradox is to launch a skill project with zero preparation. This might sound reckless, but it's a deliberate strategy to bypass the proof before permission mindset that holds so many people back. For example, you might begin teaching or coaching a subject before you've fully mastered it yourself. This creates a powerful incentive to stay just ahead of your students, driving rapid skill acquisition. It also leverages the principle that teaching is one of the most effective ways to learn. Another key step is to document your progress publicly. This serves multiple purposes. It creates accountability, pushing you to continue even when motivation flags. It also builds a narrative of growth and improvement that others can follow, enhancing your reputation as someone who takes action and gets results. As you implement these strategies, you can expect to see a range of outcomes, each more impressive than the last. At a basic level, you'll likely achieve rapid foundational competency in your chosen skill within just 3 to 5 days. This isn't mastery, but it's a level of proficiency that might have taken weeks or months to achieve through conventional methods. As you continue to apply the accelerated skill paradox, you may find yourself gaining industry recognition as naturally gifted within as little as 6 months. This isn't because you have some innate talent, but because your rapid progress and confident demeanor create the perception of natural ability. For those who fully embrace this approach, the ultimate outcome is a state where your mastery is perceived as inherent rather than learned. You reach a point where your skill seems so effortless and ingrained that others assume you must have been born with it. This is the true power of the accelerated skill paradox. Not just rapid skill acquisition, but a fundamental shift in how you and others perceive your abilities. Of course, as with any powerful technique, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One risk is overestimating your capabilities, which could lead to reputational damage if you take on challenges you're not ready for. To mitigate this, I recommend using what I call stealth mode for your first 3 learning sprints. Practice privately, honing your skills before you go public. Another risk is burnout from the intensity of this approach. The hyperlearning architecture, in particular, can be mentally and emotionally taxing. To counter this, it's crucial to enforce 24-hour recovery buffers between sprints. This allows your brain to consolidate what you've learned and prevents exhaustion. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to reflect on the paradigm shift you've just encountered. The accelerated skill paradox isn't just a learning technique. It's a fundamental reimagining of human potential. By assuming competence, leveraging failure, and pushing beyond conventional boundaries, you unlock capabilities you never knew you possessed. But as powerful as this paradox is, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept that might seem at odds with everything we've discussed so far. We'll delve into a strategy that involves slowing down to speed up, a counterintuitive approach that could be the key to sustaining your newfound momentum. Prepare to discover how the masters of success navigate the delicate balance between acceleration and strategic pauses. Chapter 5: Strategic Momentum Mapping. Have you ever felt like you're constantly busy, yet making little progress towards your goals? Like a hamster on a wheel, you're expending energy but not really getting anywhere? What if I told you there's a way to break free from this cycle, to make every action count in a way that propels you inexorably towards success? Welcome to the world of strategic momentum mapping. This chapter will introduce you to a revolutionary approach to task prioritization and decision-making that borrows from the strategic thinking of chess grandmasters. But don't worry if you've never played chess. The principles we'll explore are universally applicable, whether you're building a business empire or pursuing personal growth. At its core, strategic momentum mapping is about identifying and executing the moves that matter most. It's about understanding that not all actions are created equal, and that by focusing on the right tasks in the right order, you can create a cascade of progress that becomes almost unstoppable. But why is this approach so crucial? The answer lies in a startling statistic. 80% of outcomes hinge on just 20% of early moves. This means that the vast majority of your success is determined by a small subset of your actions, particularly those taken early in any endeavor. By identifying and prioritizing these critical moves, you can dramatically accelerate your progress and achieve your goals with far less effort. Moreover, strategic momentum mapping helps you avoid one of the most insidious traps in personal and professional development, the motion versus progress trap. How often have you found yourself busy with tasks that feel productive but don't actually move the needle? Perhaps you've spent hours perfecting a business plan instead of talking to potential customers, or endlessly researching a new skill instead of actually practicing it. Strategic momentum mapping cuts through this busy work, ensuring that every action you take is driving you towards your ultimate objectives. Now, let's delve into the heart of this approach, the Grandmaster Matrix. This powerful tool, inspired by chess strategy, allows you to rank your potential actions based on their power to create positive chain reactions. It's about identifying what I call forcing moves, actions that not only advance your position, but also limit your opponent's options, or, in a non-competitive context, reduce future obstacles. One key component of the Grandmaster Matrix is the identification of tasks that eliminate more than 50% of future effort. These are the game changers, the moves that dramatically simplify your path forward. For instance, automating a repetitive task might take some upfront effort, but it could save you countless hours in the long run. These are the types of actions that the Grandmaster Matrix prioritizes. Another crucial concept within the Grandmaster Matrix is what chess players call zugzwang traps. In chess, zugzwang is a situation where any move a player makes will worsen their position. In the context of strategic momentum mapping, we use this idea to flag activities that might force you to backtrack or undo progress. By identifying these potential pitfalls in advance, you can avoid getting trapped in situations that impede your momentum. But the Grandmaster Matrix isn't just about identifying positive moves, it's also about knowing when to let go. This is where the concept of piece sacrifice comes into play. In chess, sometimes sacrificing a piece can lead to a stronger overall position. Similarly, in your personal and professional life, there may be projects or opportunities that you need to abandon to free up resources for more promising ventures. One rule of thumb I recommend is to seriously consider quitting any project with less than a 3x ROI potential. This might seem harsh, but remember, your time and energy are your most precious resources. By freeing yourself from low-potential projects, you create space for truly transformative opportunities. Now, let's explore how you can apply these concepts in your daily life. One practical tool I've developed is what I call the domino scorecard. This simple yet powerful technique involves rating each of your potential tasks on a scale of 1 to 10 based on their chain reaction potential. How many future tasks will this action simplify or eliminate? How much closer will it bring you to your ultimate goal? Once you've scored your tasks, the next step is ruthless prioritization. I recommend focusing only on tasks that score 7 or higher. This might feel uncomfortable at first. After all, those lower-scoring tasks still need to get done, right? But here's the key. By consistently executing high-impact moves, you'll often find that many of those lower priority tasks either become unnecessary or solve themselves as a byproduct of your progress. As you begin to implement strategic momentum mapping, you can expect to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, many practitioners report doubling their productivity simply by focusing on critical tasks. This isn't about working longer hours, it's about making every hour count. As you advance in your mastery of this approach, you may find yourself gaining a significant competitive edge. By consistently making strategic moves, you force competitors or obstacles into reactive positions. While others are scrambling to keep up, you're already 3 steps ahead, calmly executing your next forcing move. For those who fully embrace strategic momentum mapping, the results can be truly extraordinary. Many report achieving major goals almost on autopilot, carried forward by the unstoppable momentum they've created. It's as if the universe itself begins to conspire in your favor, opening doors and presenting opportunities that perfectly align with your trajectory. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One risk is becoming so obsessed with leverage and high-impact moves that you burn yourself out. Remember, even grandmasters need to rest between matches. To mitigate this, I recommend capping your critical tasks at 5 per day. This ensures you're making consistent progress without overwhelming yourself. Another risk is the premature sacrifice of viable opportunities. In your zeal to focus on high-leverage actions, you might be tempted to abandon projects or relationships that still have potential. To guard against this, implement what I call the pause and reassess protocol. Every 30 days, take a step back and evaluate your current strategies. Are you still on the right path? Are there opportunities you've overlooked? This regular check-in helps ensure you're not missing out on hidden gems in your pursuit of the obvious wins. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to reflect on the power you now hold. By applying the principles of strategic momentum mapping, you're no longer at the mercy of circumstance or blind luck. You're the grandmaster of your own life, carefully orchestrating each move to create an unstoppable cascade of success. But as transformative as this approach is, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept that might seem to contradict everything we've discussed so far. We'll delve into a strategy that involves embracing chaos and uncertainty, a counterintuitive approach that could be the key to unlocking even greater levels of achievement. Prepare to discover how the true masters of success learn to dance with disorder and turn apparent setbacks into their greatest advantages. Chapter 6: Crisis Compression. Have you ever noticed how quickly you can solve problems when you're under intense pressure? How solutions seem to materialize out of thin air when you're facing a tight deadline or an unexpected crisis? What if you could harness this phenomenon at will, turning it into a superpower for problem-solving and personal growth? Welcome to the world of crisis compression, a revolutionary approach to tackling your most stubborn challenges and breaking through seemingly insurmountable barriers. This chapter will introduce you to a method that might seem counterintuitive at first, but has the potential to transform the way you approach problem-solving forever. At its core, crisis compression is about creating controlled pressure to force rapid breakthroughs. It's based on a fascinating principle in psychology known as the Yerkes-Dodson law, which suggests that there's an optimal level of stress for peak performance and creativity. Too little stress, and we become complacent. Too much, and we panic. But right in the middle, that's where the magic happens. But why is this approach so crucial? In our modern world, we're often faced with chronic problems that linger for months or even years. These issues drain our energy, erode our confidence, and hold us back from achieving our true potential. Crisis compression offers a way to turn these long-standing challenges into 48-hour projects, providing a clear path to resolution and renewed momentum. Moreover, this method eliminates the decision fatigue that often comes with long-term problem-solving. By compressing the timeline and creating artificial deadlines, we bypass the endless cycle of overthinking and second-guessing that can paralyze our progress. Now, let's delve into the heart of this approach, the 2-day Eureka Sprint framework. This intensive problem-solving method is designed to create the perfect conditions for breakthrough insights and rapid solutions. But be warned, this is not for the faint of heart. It requires total commitment and a willingness to push beyond your comfort zone. The first key component of the Eureka Sprint is what I call forced constraint activation. This involves deliberately limiting your resources to spark creativity. Instead of having unlimited time and tools at your disposal, you'll be solving your problem with just 3 key resources. This might be 1 book, 1 app, and 1 mentor. Or it could be 1 skill, 1 piece of software, and 1 hour of internet research. The specific constraints will depend on your situation, but the principle remains the same. By limiting your options, you force your brain to think creatively and find novel solutions. Another crucial aspect of the Eureka Sprint is what I call burn platforms. This involves deliberately eliminating alternatives or backup plans before you begin. It might sound scary, but it's incredibly powerful. By burning the ships, so to speak, you create a situation where failure is not an option. Your brain, realizing there's no way out, kicks into high gear to find a solution. As you progress through your Eureka Sprint, you'll likely encounter what I call the solution fatigue protocol. This is a critical phase where you might feel like you're hitting a wall. Your initial enthusiasm wanes, and the problem seems more intractable than ever. But here's the secret. This is exactly where the magic happens. I recommend enforcing a mandatory 4-hour struggle window before allowing yourself to seek outside help or take a break. This might seem cruel, but it's during this period of intense cognitive strain that your brain is most likely to make unexpected connections and generate truly innovative solutions. It's as if your conscious mind, exhausted by the struggle, finally steps aside and allows your subconscious to take over. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great for emergencies, but what about everyday problems? Here's where things get really interesting. I recommend scheduling a monthly crisis sprint, even if you don't have any pressing emergencies. This might sound strange. After all, why create a crisis if there isn't one? But this proactive approach to problem solving can yield incredible results. If you're struggling to generate the necessary sense of urgency, try what I call false flag operations. This involves inventing a crisis if none exists naturally. Perhaps you set an ambitious public goal with a short deadline, or you commit to delivering a project before you're fully ready. The key is to create real stakes and genuine pressure. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real crisis and an invented one. It will respond with the same surge of creativity and problem-solving prowess. As you begin to implement crisis compression in your life, you can expect to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, many practitioners report resolving issues that have been stagnant for months in less than 2 days. Problems that seemed insurmountable suddenly become manageable when approached with the intensity and focus of a Eureka Sprint. As you advance in your mastery of this technique, you may find your brain becoming rewired for rapid pattern interruption. The skills you develop during these intense problem-solving sessions begin to spill over into your everyday life. You become quicker to spot opportunities, more adept at finding creative solutions, and more resilient in the face of unexpected challenges. For those who fully embrace the crisis compression mindset, the results can be truly transformative. Many report reaching a state where they proactively create crises to accelerate their personal and professional growth. They've learned to harness the power of urgency and constraint to push themselves to new heights of achievement. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One risk is panic-induced paralysis. The pressure of a Eureka Sprint can be intense, and some people may find themselves freezing up instead of rising to the challenge. To mitigate this, I recommend developing a pre-sprint adrenaline dump routine. This might involve intense physical exercise, meditation, or any other activity that helps you channel nervous energy into focused determination. Another risk is the over-application of this technique to situations that require a more delicate touch. Not every problem is suitable for the intense pressure of a Eureka Sprint. To guard against this, implement what I call the impact threshold filter. Only apply crisis compression to issues that you rate at least 5 out of 10 in terms of urgency or importance. For less critical matters, more conventional problem-solving approaches may be more appropriate. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to reflect on the power you now hold. By mastering crisis compression, you've gained the ability to solve in days what might have taken months or years. You've learned to harness the creative power of urgency and constraint, turning pressure into your ally rather than your enemy. But as transformative as this approach is, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept that might seem to contradict everything we've discussed so far. We'll delve into a strategy that involves slowing down, expanding your perspective, and tapping into resources you never knew you had. Prepare to discover how the true masters of success learn to create abundance out of scarcity and turn limitations into their greatest assets. Chapter 7. Resource Magnetism. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract opportunities, funding, and influential connections, while others struggle to gain traction despite their talent and hard work? What if I told you that there's a way to tap into this seemingly magical ability to become a veritable magnet for the resources you need to achieve your goals? Welcome to the world of resource magnetism, a powerful approach that will transform the way you interact with the world and dramatically accelerate your path to success. This chapter will introduce you to a set of strategies that might seem counterintuitive at first, but have the potential to revolutionize your ability to attract the allies, funding, and even luck that you need to thrive. At its core, resource magnetism is about projecting an aura of inevitability. It's about signaling to the world that your success is not just possible, but a foregone conclusion. This isn't about arrogance or deception. It's about strategically leveraging a fundamental aspect of human psychology to create a self-fulfilling prophecy of success. But why is this approach so crucial? In today's competitive landscape, simply having a great idea or working hard isn't enough. You need to cut through the noise to stand out in a sea of talented individuals all vying for the same resources. Resource magnetism offers a way to do just that, by fundamentally altering how others perceive you and your potential. The impact of this shift can be staggering. Practitioners of resource magnetism often report reducing their hustle for resources by up to 70%. Instead of constantly chasing after opportunities, they find that opportunities start coming to them. Investors and clients begin to see them as sure bets, pre-committing resources based on the perceived inevitability of their success. Now, let's delve into the heart of this approach, the concept of signaling theory. This principle, borrowed from evolutionary biology and economics, suggests that the signals we send can dramatically alter how others perceive us and assess our potential. In the context of resource magnetism, we're going to exploit this principle to create a powerful aura of confidence and inevitability. One of the key tools in our resource magnetism arsenal is what I call pre-reward signaling systems. This involves celebrating victories before they've actually occurred. It might sound presumptuous, but when done correctly, it's incredibly powerful. Imagine hosting a launch party for a product that isn't quite finished yet. On the surface, this might seem premature or even reckless, but here's the magic. By confidently celebrating your impending success, you send a powerful signal to everyone in attendance. You're telling them, without saying a word, that your success is so certain that you're already celebrating it. This pre-reward celebration does several things. First, it creates a sense of excitement and momentum around your project. People are naturally drawn to success, and by positioning your venture as already successful, you tap into this instinct. Second, it puts subtle pressure on you and your team to deliver, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Finally, it can actually accelerate your progress by attracting resources and support from those who want to be part of a winning venture. Another powerful technique within pre-reward signaling is the use of hypothetical testimonials in your pitches. Instead of just describing what your product or service will do, paint a vivid picture of satisfied customers or clients raving about their experience. By scripting these hypothetical testimonials, you're not just selling a product, you're selling a vision of success that others can easily imagine and want to be part of. Next, let's explore the concept of proximity hacking. This involves strategically positioning yourself in proximity to the success and status you aspire to achieve. It's based on the idea that we're judged not just by our own merits, but by the company we keep and the circles we move in. One key aspect of proximity hacking is what I call status mirroring tactics. This involves carefully adopting the lexicon, attire, and behaviors of those at the level you aspire to reach. For instance, if you're running a small startup but aim to be seen as a major player in your industry, you might start using language more commonly associated with established corporations. Instead of talking about growing your business, you might discuss plans to scale operations. This isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about strategically aligning your external presentation with your internal vision of where you're headed. By doing so, you not only signal your ambitions to others, but also begin to internalize this elevated status yourself. Now, let's discuss some practical steps to apply resource magnetism in your life. One powerful technique is what I call premature invites. This involves issuing invitations or proposals that might seem a bit beyond your current status. For instance, you might invite a respected industry leader to give a guest lecture at your company, or propose yourself for a board seat at a relevant organization. The key here is to issue these invites with complete confidence, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. Even if you face rejections, and you likely will, the very act of making these bold moves sends a powerful signal about your ambitions and self-perception. When you do face rejections, it's crucial to frame them not as failures, but as temporary timeline mismatches. This mindset shift is important both for maintaining your own confidence and for how you present these outcomes to others. Instead of saying an opportunity didn't work out, you might say something like, "We're excited to revisit this partnership when our growth aligns more closely with their needs." As you begin to implement these resource magnetism strategies, you can expect to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, many practitioners report a 50% increase in inbound opportunities within the first few months. Instead of constantly chasing leads, you'll find that interesting prospects start coming to you. As you advance in your mastery of resource magnetism, you may find yourself attracting unsolicited partnerships and funding opportunities. People will begin to see association with you and your ventures as valuable in itself, leading to a virtuous cycle of increasing resources and opportunities. For those who fully embrace and master resource magnetism, the ultimate outcome is developing a reputation as an inevitable force in your niche. You become someone that others not only want to work with, but feel they need to work with to stay relevant. At this level, success becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, with resources and opportunities naturally gravitating towards you. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One significant risk is overpromising, which can lead to a loss of credibility if you consistently fail to deliver on your bold claims. To mitigate this, I recommend incorporating what I call underdog clauses into your communications. These are subtle acknowledgments of the challenges you face, framed in a way that actually enhances your perceived determination and resilience. For instance, you might say something like, "We're taking on a massive challenge, and if we fall short, here's our fallback plan. But we're committed to doing whatever it takes to succeed." This approach demonstrates both ambition and pragmatism, making your confidence more credible. Another risk is alienating gatekeepers through overly aggressive attempts at access. While boldness is key to resource magnetism, it's important to balance this with respect for established hierarchies and protocols. One effective technique for navigating this is what I call altruistic baiting. This involves framing your requests or proposals in terms of how they serve the other party's mission or goals. Instead of focusing on what you want to gain, emphasize how your involvement can contribute to their success. I'm reaching out because I believe I can help advance your mission in X way is much more compelling than I want to be involved because it would benefit me. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to reflect on the immense power you now hold. By mastering resource magnetism, you've gained the ability to shape how the world perceives you and your potential. You've learned to create a gravitational pull that attracts the very resources and opportunities you need to succeed. But as transformative as this approach is, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept that might seem to contradict everything we've discussed so far. We'll delve into a strategy that involves looking beyond immediate success, expanding your perspective to encompass a much grander vision. Prepare to discover how the true masters of achievement learn to play an entirely different game, one where the rules of conventional success no longer apply and where the stakes are higher than you've ever imagined. Chapter 8: Infinite Game Sustenance. Have you ever wondered why some individuals seem to maintain an insatiable drive for success, even after achieving remarkable feats, while others lose their spark once they've reached their initial goals? What if I told you there's a way to sustain your hunger for achievement indefinitely, to turn success itself into a renewable resource that fuels further growth and impact? Welcome to the realm of infinite game sustenance, a revolutionary approach that will transform the way you view success and redefine your relationship with achievement. This chapter will introduce you to a mindset and set of strategies that might challenge your current perceptions, but have the potential to elevate your impact to unprecedented levels. At its core, infinite game sustenance is about shifting your perspective from playing finite games with clear endpoints to engaging in an infinite game where the goal is to keep playing. It's about creating systems that not only withstand success, but actually thrive on it, becoming stronger and more resilient with each achievement. But why is this approach so crucial? The sobering reality is that 92% of high achievers stagnate after their first major win. They reach the summit they've been climbing towards, only to find themselves unsure of where to go next. This stagnation isn't just a personal setback, it's a loss for the world at large, as these individuals' potential for further impact goes unrealized. Infinite Game Sustenance offers a way to break free from this cycle of achievement and stagnation. By reframing success as a renewable resource rather than a finite goal, you create the conditions for compounding impact. Each win becomes not an endpoint, but a launching pad for even greater achievements. Now, let's delve into one of the key strategies for maintaining this infinite game mindset: artificial loss inoculation. This might sound counterintuitive at first. After all, why would you want to introduce loss or hardship into your life, especially after you've achieved success? The answer lies in the concept of anti-fragility, a term coined by philosopher Nassim Nicholas Taleb to describe systems that actually get stronger when exposed to stressors. One powerful technique within artificial loss inoculation is what I call voluntary deprivation cycles. This involves deliberately removing comforts or resources that you've grown accustomed to, even if only for a short period. For instance, you might choose to delete a productivity app you rely on, or forego your assistant's help for 72 hours each month. The purpose of these deprivation cycles is twofold. First, they prevent you from becoming overly reliant on the trappings of success, maintaining your ability to operate effectively even when resources are constrained. Second, and perhaps more importantly, they reignite the hunger and creativity that often accompany times of scarcity. By temporarily stripping away comforts, you force yourself to innovate and problem solve in ways you might not when everything is easily available. These cycles serve as a form of inoculation, exposing you to small, controlled doses of loss or hardship. Just as a vaccine prepares your immune system to fight off future infections, these experiences prepare you mentally and emotionally to handle real setbacks when they occur. They build resilience and adaptability, key traits for anyone looking to play the infinite game. Another crucial aspect of infinite game sustenance is what I call legacy scripting. This involves actively shaping the narrative of your life's impact, not just in the present, but far into the future. It's about thinking beyond immediate goals and considering the lasting mark you want to leave on the world. One powerful technique within legacy scripting is what I term eulogy engineering. This involves regularly writing journal entries as if they were toasts being given at your 100th birthday celebration. What accomplishments would you want highlighted? What impact would you hope to have had on individuals, industries, or even the world at large? This exercise serves multiple purposes. First, it forces you to think long-term, beyond the usual 5 or 10-year plans that most people consider long-term thinking. Second, it helps you align your current actions with your desired legacy, ensuring that you're always working towards something truly meaningful. Finally, it provides a wellspring of motivation, reminding you of the larger purpose behind your daily efforts. Now, let's explore some practical steps to apply infinite game sustenance in your life. One powerful tool I've developed is what I call the 100-year filter. This involves evaluating your goals and projects through the lens of a century-long impact. Ask yourself, will this matter in 100 years? If the answer is no, it might be worth reconsidering whether it's truly worth your time and energy. This doesn't mean you should only pursue grandiose, world-changing projects. Small actions can have ripple effects that last for generations. The key is to be intentional about the long-term implications of your choices. As part of this approach, I recommend investing at least 10% of your resources, whether that's time, money, or energy, into what I call legacy assets. These are endeavors or creations that have the potential for long-lasting impact. As you begin to implement these infinite game sustenance strategies, you can expect to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, many practitioners report developing an immunity to short-term distractions and setbacks. When you're playing the infinite game, daily fluctuations in fortune become less significant. You develop a steadier, more resilient approach to both success and failure. As you advance in your mastery of this mindset, you may find yourself creating self-replenishing momentum loops. Success breeds further success, not through external rewards, but through the internal drive and systems you've cultivated. You become a perpetual motion machine of achievement, each accomplishment fueling the next without losing energy or enthusiasm. For those who fully embrace and master infinite game sustenance, the ultimate outcome is achieving a lifelong, serial winner status across multiple industries or domains. You become someone who can enter any field, achieve remarkable success, and then move on to new challenges without losing your edge. Your adaptability and sustained hunger for growth make you a formidable force in any arena you choose to enter. Of course, as with any powerful approach, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One significant risk is becoming detached from present realities as you focus on long-term legacy. To mitigate this, I recommend implementing what I call gratitude anchors. These are brief check-ins, performed 3 times daily, where you consciously acknowledge and appreciate your current circumstances. This practice helps ground you in the present while still maintaining your long-term vision. Another risk is overextension through excessive legacy ambition. In your enthusiasm to create lasting impact, you might take on too many long-term projects, diluting your effectiveness. To guard against this, I suggest capping your legacy projects at 2 concurrent endeavors. This allows for meaningful pursuit of long-term goals without overwhelming your capacity or neglecting shorter-term responsibilities. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to reflect on the profound shift in perspective you've just encountered. By embracing infinite game sustenance, you're not just setting yourself up for sustained success, you're positioning yourself to have a truly lasting impact on the world. You're moving beyond the realm of personal achievement into the domain of legacy creation. But as transformative as this approach is, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept that might seem to contradict everything we've discussed so far. We'll delve into a strategy that involves embracing the very thing most high achievers fear, the possibility of failure. Prepare to discover how the true masters of the infinite game learn to harness setbacks as their greatest teachers, and how they turn apparent defeats into the foundation of their most significant victories. Chapter 9: Victory's Trap. As we reach the final chapter of our journey together, it's time to confront a paradox that catches even the most successful individuals off guard. Have you ever achieved a long-sought goal only to find that the euphoria quickly fades, leaving you feeling oddly empty or restless? This phenomenon, known as victory's trap, is more common than you might think, and understanding how to navigate it is crucial for sustained success and fulfillment. At its core, victory's trap is about escaping the dopamine-driven complacency and success addiction that can derail even the most promising careers and lives. It's about recognizing that the very neurochemical rewards that drive us towards achievement can, ironically, become obstacles to our continued growth and satisfaction. The culprit behind this trap is what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. This is the tendency for humans to quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness, despite major positive or negative events in their lives. In the context of success, it means that the joy and satisfaction we feel after achieving a goal often diminishes more quickly than we expect, leaving us constantly chasing the next win for that fleeting high. But fear not. The strategies we're about to explore will not only help you escape this trap, but will transform your entire approach to success and fulfillment. We'll delve into counterintuitive techniques like contrarian envy and quantum generosity that hack your reward circuits, allowing you to sustain your hunger for achievement while avoiding the burnout that often accompanies relentless pursuit. Let's start by reflecting on how this book has empowered you so far. Throughout these chapters, you've learned to transform transient wins into a perpetual reinvention engine. Instead of obsessing over specific goals, you've discovered how to create anti-fragile systems that thrive on change and challenge. This shift alone is revolutionary, setting you apart from the vast majority of achievers who become trapped by their own success. But the impact of these strategies extends far beyond your personal achievements. One of the most profound ways this approach improves your life is through its effect on your relationships. Enter the concept of quantum generosity protocols. This isn't about simple acts of kindness. It's a strategic approach to building social capital that creates a self-reinforcing cycle of opportunity and support. Quantum generosity involves pre-giving favors or resources before they're requested or even needed. It's about anticipating the needs of others in your network and fulfilling them proactively. This approach not only builds goodwill, but also positions you as a valuable node in your professional and personal networks. People begin to see association with you as inherently beneficial, opening doors to opportunities you might never have accessed otherwise. Moreover, this mindset allows you to reframe rivalry into what I call collaborative urgency fuel. Instead of viewing competitors as threats, you start to see them as co-creators in a larger game. Their successes don't diminish your own. Rather, they create a sense of urgency that propels you forward. This shift not only reduces stress, but also expands the pool of potential allies and collaborators in your journey. Now, let's talk about what you'll achieve as you implement these strategies. One of the most liberating outcomes is developing a non-attachment to specific outcomes. This might sound counterintuitive, especially after all we've discussed about goal setting and achievement. But this non-attachment is not about lack of ambition. It's about ultimate flexibility and resilience. When you're not rigidly attached to particular outcomes, you gain the ability to pivot mid-victory towards even higher missions without regret. Imagine reaching a goal you've worked towards for years, only to realize that an even greater opportunity has emerged. Many people would struggle to change course, feeling obligated to stick with their original plan. But you, armed with this new mindset, can seamlessly transition to the higher mission, multiplying your impact and satisfaction. As you continue to practice these principles, you'll find that they become increasingly effortless. This is due to what I call automatic certainty loops. Through consistent application of the strategies we've discussed, your subconscious mind begins to recognize patterns of success and opportunity automatically. Decisions that once required intense deliberation now execute smoothly via this subconscious pattern recognition. Perhaps most remarkably, you'll find that external validation becomes increasingly redundant. The need for constant affirmation from others, a need that drives many high achievers, begins to fade. You develop an internal compass so finely tuned that you can navigate complex decisions with confidence, regardless of outside opinions. As we conclude this book, I want to leave you with a final powerful insight. The ultimate victory, the one that truly sets you free from the traps of success addiction and the hedonic treadmill, is the realization that you are not your achievements. Your worth is not determined by your accomplishments, your bank balance, or your social status. This realization is not an excuse for complacency. On the contrary, it's the key to unleashing your full potential. When you no longer need success to validate your worth, you're free to take bigger risks, to pursue audacious goals without fear of failure, and to find joy in the journey itself rather than just the destination. You've now been equipped with a set of tools and mindsets that put you in an elite category of achievers. You understand how to create certainty, embody your future self, compress crises, magnetize resources, and play the infinite game. But more than that, you've learned how to transcend the very notion of achievement itself. Your journey from here is limited only by your imagination. You have the power to reshape industries, influence global narratives, and leave a legacy that echoes through generations. But remember, the true measure of your success will not be in the accolades you accumulate or the wealth you generate. It will be in the lives you touch, the innovations you spark, and the positive change you catalyze in the world around you. As you close this book and step back into your life, carry with you this final thought. You are not just playing the game of success, you are redefining it. Every action you take, every decision you make is now infused with the potential to create ripples of positive impact far beyond what you can see or imagine. The world is waiting for the unique contribution that only you can make. Armed with these strategies and this new perspective, you're ready to not just achieve greatness, but to redefine what greatness means. However, true mastery requires more than just knowing how to act like you've already won. To fully leverage the power of certainty and strategic momentum, you need to develop a keen understanding of how to outmaneuver those around you. There's a critical skill set that complements everything you've learned here, one that can elevate your success to unprecedented levels. Curious about what this game-changing ability might be? The answer lies in mastering the art and science of strategic thinking. To continue your journey of transformation and learn how to consistently outsmart the competition, dive into the audiobook, The Science of Strategic Thinking, Outsmart the Competition and Win. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.